On March 24, 1991, 4-year-old Michael Dunahee went with his family to Blanchard Park Elementary School in Victoria, British Columbia for his mother's flag football game. When they arrived at 12:30 p.m, Michael asked his mother if he could go to the playground, which was roughly 100 yards from the field. Crystal Dunahee allowed her son to go alone. I made sure he was looking at me and that he understood that he was allowed to go to the park by himself, but he was to stay and not leave with anybody else and wait for his dad to come. As 2 football games were about to start, Bruce Dunahee went to the playground. His son Michael was gone. He had vanished within minutes of being seen. Around 50 people in attendance for the football game helped search for the missing boy. Police were quick to arrive and interviewed a number of people, including other kids. At the time, the Michael Dunahee case became one of the largest missing person investigations in Canada's history. At one time, 15 detectives were assigned to the case. Hundreds of tips would come in every hour, but this was at a time without the technology of today. Things like video surveillance and DNA testing were not as widespread or advanced, making the case a difficult one for investigators. Although there were at least 50 people in the area at the time Michael went missing, no one had actually seen what had happened. However, due to the circumstances, police concluded that Michael had been abducted. It became quite clear that this was more than just a missing child, that, in fact, it had all the earmarks of an abduction, said Detective Inspector Fred Mills. Investigators first interviewed a number of known sex offenders, but were unable to develop any solid suspects or leads. One witness claimed that they saw a male in his 40s or 50s at the playground that day. A brown van was also sighted in the area. Police tracked down a number of people who drove brown vans and cleared all of them of any involvement. A composite sketch of a potential suspect was released to the public. After thousands of interviews and reenactments, there's not a living soul who saw him disappear, except the person who took him, said Don Bland, a former detective on the case. In the first month of the investigation, police learned of potential sightings of Michael in Canada, as well as the United States, particularly in New York and New Jersey. A witness had reported seeing a black male with Michael at the playground that day. Then months later in New Jersey, a 7-year-old girl had reported that she had nearly been abducted by a black male. She claimed that a boy matching Michael's description was sitting in the back of the man's car. The man had a pock-marked face and was of average build. Police were unable to identify the man, his car, or the boy. Over the years, DNA testing has been conducted on individuals that have borne a similar resemblance to Michael. None of them have proved to be a match for the missing child, who would now be 36 years old. In 2009, a Milwaukee man who had claimed to have killed a child in 1959 had confessed to killing another child. In his house was a Michael Dunahee missing poster, among others. The man died of natural causes before police were able to question him further. Valerie Green, the author of Vanished, the Michael Dunahee story, said, "Like many people in Victoria, I was just totally shocked. This could never happen in sleepy little Victoria. They happened somewhere else." After over 11,000 tips, over 800 possible sightings, and a reward of $100,000, the disappearance of Michael Dunahee remains unsolved. He has been missing for 31 years.